This is an Ellis Mowers and More small engine repair. Stay connected on Instagram and Facebook at Ellis Mowers and More. Comments or questions? Leave them below or email me, ellis@ellismowers.com. Parts used in today's repair are found using the links in the description below. And as always, like and subscribe for more small engine content. On today's repair video, we're gonna hopefully finally get this thing going again. I've got about 3 or 4 long-term customer projects that I told them I'd probably wait until the slow season to get it. Slow season doesn't exist apparently for me, but we're here. It's not a bad thing, but we're here in October. Really want to get this guy's DYT4000 Craftsman back to him. Apparently he's had it sitting at some other guy's house for like a year, and I think the other guy called him and said it's finally time to get it. So I went and got it, and we'll see if we can get it back going again for him. He bought the really nice LT1000 with the bagger that I had for like $800 a while back in the spring, and then smoked the deck belt on it the day he got it. But fixed the deck belt. I haven't heard from him about that mower since. That was a super nice mower. This one's not, but I think it's got some promise. It looks worse than I think it actually is going to be. But we're going to sink some money into this, so I hope he's ready. But this has got Kohler Courage in it, hydrostatic transmission, and it's a Craftsman. So, you know, the worst part about it is that the tires are just garbage on it. So I've got to find some decent tires for it. We'll see if there's any of them that will actually stay up, and I may be able to save with some ATF. But like I said, we'll see. But what I'll do, it's an interesting spec Craftsman. I've never really had one like this before, so I wanted to take you around and show it to you. And for him, it's probably not worth fixing. For me, if I got it in a trade deal, then yeah, I'd fix it. But we got some things to do. We'll see how much we sink into this. Truthfully, it might just be carburetor, and maybe some belts, maybe some blades if he's lucky. If it's just that. Worst case, I gotta pull the tank and clean it out and all of that. We'll cross that bridge if we have to. Let me show you around the machine first before we get into doing the first thing that we're gonna do, which is see if we can get it running. As I do with all my machines, I'll give you all a quick look around, or the machines at least that I'm working on. We've worked on a ton of Craftsmans lately. A ton of Craftsmans, or Craftsman-esque machines. Just like that wheel horse, this thing's been sitting out there for a couple months, and I said, I've got to get this thing. So I pulled it in here to motivate me to get it out of here. So we're going to get it out of here, hopefully. This is actually a pretty nicely spec machine aside from the Kohler Courage. I wish that it would have a different mower or different engine on it besides that. Somebody put one of them Mighty Max batteries in it. I don't know why they put that instead of one of them, instead of a regular 12 volt. But regardless, it's probably dead anyways. It's got the fuel tank in the rear, of course, which is a little bit more difficult. But it's a 917-275-660. It's actually made in 2005, 032505. There you go. Which I thought they didn't put the Courage engines in until about 06, but I guess this is one of the early ones. So 2005. 42-inch mower deck. I'm going to go ahead and get the hood off. We're going to look at the belts and stuff, or I'll feel the belts and the blades and just let y'all know. It's unfortunate that the hood is broken because it's a nice metal hood. So Kohler Courage. I'm just going to check that real quick. It's a SV600 made December 29th of 2004. There's no crack in the block, no leaks anywhere. It's full of oil, which is good. Blades probably replaced, if I guess. Ooh, it'll sound a little crunchy. It looks like the deck is pretty much going to need a full rebuild. Blades are actually, as long as they're not bent, they're going to be salvageable. And then the drive belt, let's feel up under here. Drive belt actually feels good too, as long as the pulleys aren't seized. That one's not seized. That one's not seized either, so that's good. That's good, so I think we're okay there. Electric PTO, which is nice. 42-inch deck. It's got a little bit of rust right here. I do have a 42-inch electric PTO deck. That would be an easy swap if we had to. I don't know if he would want to. I don't think he wants to be $600-700 on a $500 mower, would you? Putting the deck and everything on it. So, before we even put a battery in it, let's just make sure it turns over and everything. What I might do is I might throw just a little bit of gas in the back here, and I'll grab a couple items and turn it over, see what we got, see if it will turn over for us. So this is very wishful thinking on my part, but I'm going to throw a little bit of gas in the back here in the tank. It does not smell good, but it is not full of junk, and it feels, let's see, it feels like it's pretty empty, so that's either good or bad. Good in the fact that there will be no varnish in here, but bad in the fact that there may be a leak in the tank, so we'll see. Might be all we can get out of that. That's alright though. That should be enough to at least whet the appetite potentially, so we'll see. Grab a key here. Will this key work? It will. Alright, we got power, which is good. I hear the solenoid clicking in there, so let's see if I can get it to turn over. Hey, that's good. So the fuel filter is actually filling up here, so then that's something. What is this? This thing was sitting for like two and a half years. Just gonna kick off like it's nothing. Alright. Choke is definitely stuck. Now it's not. So it choked it a little bit. Let's see if it'll kick over now. impressive. Of course, there's no power whatsoever there. But, alright, well, that definitely helped shorten the span of time that this mower is going to take to get going again. Wow. Okay, so now I need to figure out which tires will pump up and what I need to do in order to get some tires to pump up here. I don't know which ones will. We'll see, and we'll go from there after that. Truthfully, like I said, very, very surprised that the thing kicked over like it did by just putting gas in it, but we'll take it. Sounds good as well. I'll throw a battery in it, find some tires for it, and we will continue the journey. So I got 2 tires on it in the front. The rear one's pumped up. The front ones were gone though. There's no saving them. Unfortunately, the tank is leaking where it comes out, probably at that lower grommet down there. So I am going to have to pull the fender up and the tank up in order to get that off, which is going to be a little bit of a task. It's a very, very tight clearance with these. So let's see if I've got enough gas. The drive belts pulleys are moving freely, and the deck belt pulleys are moving freely as well. So, given all that, I'm going to crank it up. I'm going to hopefully drive it forward here and see if the blades will turn on. Steers really easily. Something ain't working in it, I know that. Let's see. Let me see if it'll move with me being off. Yeah, so the seat safety has gone bad. Excuse me, so I do need to pull that off, put one of these on it. I think I've got one. I just need to make sure it's the right one, and we'll throw that on there hopefully, and hopefully be good. It's definitely the seat safety because the brake safety is working, and as soon as you let off the brake, the seat stops. So I just had a faulty switch. I verified a new one works. Just simply by pressing it down and releasing the brake with it running, and so everything's good there. Might be able to get by with only having to take one of these completely. Okay. Oh. I don't know why I've had some sharp stomach pains there for that last clip or two. Seems like they're getting better. Probably moved the wrong way at some point today, which is not the best, or not the most ideal, but crawling up under transmissions and stuff, you know, takes a little bit. So now, after I fasten this down in place, come on now, there we go. All right. Really, the only wild card now is if there's some sort of issue with the blades. So we'll see, but I think we got to put it the right way. That switch could have been put the wrong way too. I'll have to go back and check before I call it a day on this. But yeah, I think that switch was faulty. I know this thing was parked for a reason. The fact that it's running and driving with just putting gas in it, I mean, seems like it's really may have been a seat safety switch, which would be kind of crazy. But all right, let's try this again. Okay, let's do it. Sounded when I moved there, so I don't know why it's doing that, but not exactly sure. Could just be these pulleys having issues. Maybe spray a little WD-40 on them and get them a little quiet, maybe quiet them down some. Oh, that's nice to have a running and driving machine right here. Now the deck belt, let's get this thing out here and see if it'll cut some, or the blades will at least turn on it. So let me get y'all out here. Using this phone here for a while, the angle of the lens is not very wide, so. got like a 2-stage like a starter on it or something, or a switch for the brake. But let's see. It may have run out of gas. No, I think that switch just kicked in finally. So it's charging the battery, it drives, and the blades work. So really the only thing I have left to do on this thing is, I might go ahead and just wash it too. I've got to put probably ATF in all the tires, and got to fix that leak under the tank there. And after I do all that, man, this thing's be ready to rock and roll and go back home, which is going to be really nice. Well, I actually forgot that this is still the old style LT frame, which makes it infinitely easier to access this gas tank. Literally all you got to do, there's 2 bolts where the springs are that you got to take off, and there's 2 bolts underneath the footwell that you got to take off on each side. Unplug your seat safety switch. If this, like this one, has a reverse switch, you might want to unplug that as well. We could take the fender completely off if we want to. I don't think we necessarily have to here, but what they did, man, I might just take the whole thing off just to make it a little bit easier for y'all too, because it won't take but just a second here. Let's just pull it off right here. Yeah, so it's really not that difficult. Just pull that whole thing off right there. Alright, so now that we've got that out of the way, let's look at the tank. The tank is not in the best shape. It's got some sun cracking on it. I don't think I've got another one though. So the main issue is down here though. Somebody actually put these cheap, like regular line on it, like not even rubber line, just hard line on it. So I'm sure that's part of our issue here. It kind of looks like we're leaking out of the tank grommet as well. So what I've got to be very careful about is this line right here though, or this elbow. It's really, really easy to break it. So let's see if we can cut, because I'm going to replace all this fuel line from back to front on this thing, because it is some cheap stuff. Whoever put line on this, put this really cheap
hard plastic line on it. It's not really aging very well, so maybe my head might be right in the way, but what I want to do here is just see if we can cut this off without compromising the elbow. I mean, it's just falling apart as I'm trying to pull it off here. So. Of course, I screwed the plastic piece up again. That plastic elbow is so brittle. They get so brittle over the course of time that it makes it really difficult to make it work. I've done other... I have to see what options I got in here. I know I got plastic elbows though, and tank grommets, so I just need to pull this tank grommet out. I can never save one of these plastic elbows whenever I take it off. I don't know why, but these things are pretty much done too, so I mean this is like the last major hurdle that I got to get over to get this thing fixed. So I mean we could be, you know, repairing cracked blocks and swapping engines and having to do major deck work and stuff. I mean just look how brittle that thing was. Crazy. Let's see. I'm sure y'all don't want to watch me struggle to pull this off, but we'll pull it off here and get this thing out of here somehow, some way. Might have to cut it. But I'll get this out. I'll find something that'll work to put a new one on there, and then we'll run the new fuel lines in. Y'all can see I got the new tank and grommet in there. I did not have an exact fit. However, I have one of these generic 90 degrees. And this inlet is too small, so what I did is I took some small fuel line, like for almost like a Honda engine or something, and shoved it on here, and then shoved that into the tank grommet. And I'll bring y'all down here so y'all don't think I'm a liar. Let it sit here for a couple minutes, made sure it didn't leak, and as you can see there's a little bit of gas coming out of this because I just opened it up. But if you feel around and look around, and just so y'all know, there's gas in here. So there you go. So yeah, so I think we'll put this back on. We'll put the proper fuel line from the back of the mower to the front on it, and then we'll be done basically. I've already given this thing a wash, even though it doesn't look very good. I'll take the hood back off. We're going to feed up fuel line at least from the fuel filter back to the tank right there, which somebody has already tried to replace at some point. The rest of the fuel line looks okay, so we may just do that portion from the tank to the fuel filter there. Also, I think the battery charged up, so I may throw that old max power battery or whatever that thing was in here after I test it and make sure that it's good. The rear tires didn't hold, unfortunately, so I got to either tube them or put some different ones on and sharpen the blades. So I'm going to keep on working here. I'll let y'all know what I end up finishing out here with. So here's something else that's crazy. This battery even charged up. I don't know how old the battery is, but I don't know. It may have been, this thing may have been pretty much gone through right before it was parked, considering that I had that battery in it that's charged. It runs. The fuel system looks like it had just had some work done to it. So really all I got left to do, I need to test run it. But blades, sharpen the blades, make sure everything's good there, and then I got to figure out the rear tires. And after I figure those two things out, this thing's ready to go back home to its home. So that's going to be nice. I mean, the thing's even got full and clean oil, so that's even good. So let me clean up because I got to get out of here for the day. And few days later, we'll finish everything up here. Rear tires, sharpen the blades, and be done. Well, you always find first on stuff, and this is one of them. I will show y'all here. So y'all know Craftsman has got the round axles, right? MTDs have the square axles. Well, somebody had decided to put an MTD wheel on this thing and ground the axles down to fit the square axle on this mower, which is crazy. Instead of getting a standard wheel, they got that. So this tire is pretty dry rotted. I obviously can't put a Craftsman tire on here because of this, so I'm gonna tube it. I was able to find a tire to put on this side, which is good. That's holding air. The other one was it's just in really, really bad shape, and I don't know where I put it, but I put it out here. I can't get it to hold air because the sidewalls are so flimsy on it. Like the tire's so dry rotted and flexed that I can't get it to hold on both sides of the rim, and it won't hold air even when I get it seated. So I didn't even worry with it. So I got a tire for them. So we got 3 out of 4 tires plus a tube that we're gonna do on this. Pardon the no light situation. I've actually got the power shut off doing some major electrical work around here, getting my fuses replaced with breakers today, so it's an exciting time. But regardless, that's why I can't show it to y'all in the light very well. That's a first. So I'll get a tube in this thing. I'll level the deck in accordance with the new tires. The front tires are holding good, and hopefully we will be done with this thing as soon as I get that taken care of and the deck level. If y'all remember the deck leveling area on this, I know the belts are not in the best shape, but they are functioning. I had to put new blades on it as well. Right here, right there, and then there's one on the other side. Just put something that's the same height on both sides. A lot of times I use oil filters to put both sides on to get them level, and you should be good. So let me take care of this tube, get it back out in the light here, run it around the yard a little bit, make sure everything's good on it before we finish everything up. Well, here we are. I think this is the final look now. Again, I've cleaned it up a little bit earlier. I found a better tire to put on the rear. That's a 20x8 instead of an 18.5 or an 18. So it's got the same height in the back. Tubing that weird tire over there. There's where somebody completely grinded down the axle to put the MTD wheel on. It works, I suppose. And well, we got 2 front tires that hold air because the other 2 were trashed on it. And I think this thing's ready to roll. Runs good. Again, it could use a couple of deck spindle lubrications and all that, but again, if this was the mower, if this was my mower and I was going to sell it, I'd pop off them caps and lube them up. But you know, that's just an extra expense for him. He's already pretty deep into this. He's going to have a running and driving machine. The deck spindles are just going to be a little loud for him, but the tires are really going to be what's going to run up the bill, and then also me having to pull the tank there and putting the tank grommet and the shut-off switch in. So got all that. Those are the two major things. This thing started up, ran, drove, and cut, which is pretty impressive for I literally drug this thing out of the woods at this other guy's house where he had it sitting at. So and I had to put a battery in it, and I had to put new blade, or I did not have to put a new battery in it. I apologize. The battery actually charged up, which is a miracle. The blades I would not have had to replace, but one of them was cracked, and I did not have a matching one for it since I only had mulching ones here. But either way, this thing is done, ready to go. Interesting spec, just because of the year model it is of DYT4000. With the Kohler Courage, believe it or not, one of the earliest dated Kohler Courage I've seen so far. And that still runs on the original carburetor, mind you. But what helped here was that it was a fuel pump setup, and I guess the thing ran out of gas, and potentially had a safety switch issue too, because we fixed the seat safety earlier in the video, which seemed to keep it, be the thing that kept it from running continuously. So what? Seat safety, blades, tank grommet, shut-off switch, 3 tires and 1 tire tube. Got this thing back up and going again, so we'll take it. Should be a nice payday for me. He gets a mower back fairly cheap too, because he bought that LT1000 from me for $800, and he'll be in it for less than half on this machine. So he'll be good. But thanks again for watching this small engine repair video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I've got yet another Craftsman going back again here. So I do appreciate it. I'll catch y'all on the next video.